Welcome back, Canadians. Canadian authorities and investors are still reacting to Donald Trump's threat of a 25% tariff against Mexico and this country, Canada, unless they clamp down on borders and make other concessions to the incoming U.S. president-elect. Justin Trudeau, of course, our prime minister, flew to Florida to meet with Trump recently. Trump later described that meeting as, quote, very productive. Earlier this morning, we spoke with Sean King. He's Senior Vice President at Park Strategies, a former senior advisor at the U.S. Department of Commerce. Here's his take on this situation.
I take a wider geostrategic view of this, where the United States is only 5% of the world's population. And I see us with real rivals and real enemies, whether it's China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran. And I just don't count Mexico and Canada among those, especially not Canada. And Canada, for its part, you know, Justin Trudeau came in a little cozy with China, but he's pulled back for his own reasons. So we should be closer than maybe things seem. With Trump, it could be a lot of bluster. He could follow through. I'd be lying to you if I told you I knew what he's going to do. But I thought that even though it must have been tough for him to go down there and kiss the ring and kiss up to Trump a bit, it was a good idea for Justin Trudeau to go to Mar-a-Lago. And I think the takeaways in the body language was positive. Trump obviously showed he was taking the meeting very seriously. He hosted him at his home. And the fact that he had such high-level, relevant incoming cabinet officials gives me confidence that they talked real turkey. No Thanksgiving, U.S. Thanksgiving, pun intended. You look at Waltz, the incoming national security advisor, Lutnick, incoming commerce, and Burgum, incoming energy secretary, whose home state in North Dakota has a long border with Manitoba and Saskatchewan. These are the real people who will handle tariffs and security. So I really don't know, but Canada's maybe best hope is just to say that you're not as bad as Mexico.
You got to believe that the Justin Trudeau and his and the people he was with likely mentioned the prospects of inflation in the U.S. economy to Donald Trump. You don't have to have a PhD in economics to understand that if the price of Canadian crude oil goes up by 25% as refineries in the U.S. buy it, that will flow through to the gasoline pumps in fairly short order. How much water do you think that argument carries with Donald Trump and his team?
It should, more than with anybody else. Remember, President Biden, unfortunately, canceled the Keystone Pipeline coming into office, and Trump has promised to open it up, which was a big winner in states like Pennsylvania, which got him the election. So if anything, Trump's own plans call for an increase of Canada's trade surplus with the U.S. because he wants more oil from you, which I want too. I'd rather get it from Canada than the likes of Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, or whoever else. And Trump, who himself went to Wharton and likes to tell us how smart he is, you know, should at least be honest with people that these inflationary tariffs are paid by the U.S. importer. They're not paid by the selling country. It's the U.S. importer who has to pay them to U.S. Customs to get them out of the port or off the bridge or wherever it is. So, yes, they're inflationary. Americans pay them. And I think that we want more oil from Canada, so we're going to have to suck it up and accept a bigger Canadian trade surplus, at least in the short term.
According to you, in some notes you shared with us, 36 of the 50 states in the United States have Canada as their #1 export market. We are the most important buyer of goods and services from 36 states in the U.S. How much influence do you think those states and their governors can exert on the Trump administration?
Well, they should, especially if they're from red states. You know, when I was at Commerce, everybody was so fixated on trade with China, and I know that's important. But I was saying the greatest export market is right under our nose. It's next door. I mean, the United States and Canada could not live without each other. And the trade statistics are so misleading because so many goods cross the border more than once before final production. So it's really hard to say what's a deficit, what's a surplus. I heard one person say, and my friends from Detroit won't appreciate this, I heard one person say over the weekend, there's no such thing as an American car or a Canadian car. There's a North American car, because it really is an integrated market. And, you know, Canada's a great blood ally next door. We fought wars together, and it's so unfair to lump in with Mexico. For the latest 12-month period on record that I saw, Canada is responsible for 0.6% of illegal crossings into the United States. So sure, there are things to talk about, especially on the border with my home state in New York, but But I think we can work through these things and hopefully avoid tariffs, keep our friends close, rally democracies together, and focus our time on our real adversaries, China, Russia, North Korea, and the like.